Hey folks, welcome back to another Super J Business Hour. Sorry I haven't been around for a couple days. It's really hard to keep up with work and all this news and everything going on. It's very tough. I'm trying my best though here, folks. Quick story before I start today. I have about 7 or 8 newspapers stacked up from the last couple days, and I was going to go through them and then do my little articles like I always do for you guys. And my favorite newspaper, the Intelligencer Lancaster New Era newspaper from around here locally. I take one look at this paper alone, and 15 minutes wouldn't cover it. As some of you may know, when you record live from a webcam, you have 15 minutes for YouTube to do a video. So I haven't figured out, I'm not that great or computer savvy, how to make it longer. I tried doing it, recording it from my webcam, just my normal webcam from the computer, and then converting it to uploading it as a video, but then it's too much gigabyte. And so I haven't been able to do that. Anyway, so here's 15 minutes. And I just want to say, I can't even get to, out of 6 papers, 5 of them are going to stay on the floor because of just this one newspaper having so much stuff that I want to go crazy about. But let's just get right into it, okay? Ready? Lancaster Intelligencer Journal, the Lancaster New Era, and this is from Monday, June 20th, okay, folks? And I know today's Tuesday, so this is actually from yesterday. And I'll show you the paper, like I always do. Okay, we'll start. We're going to go quick here because I have so much information I want to get out. It says, U.S. nuke regulators weaken safety rules. Now, the surprising thing about all these articles I'm going to read, it's almost like they're starting to wake up. But at the end of each article, they always clean it up and fix it. And then, to me, the normal American public still get tricked. So it's like you can't win either way. Even when they put articles that are starting to tell the truth, then they throw some nonsense at the end to throw you off. Anyway, it even goes on to say, and this is the Associated Press, this almost gave me a heart attack that they actually are going to try to tell the truth. Lacey Township, New Jersey, federal regulators have been working closely with the nuclear power industry to keep the nation's aging reactors operating within safety standards by repeatedly weakening those standards or simply failing to enforce them by an investigation by the Associated Press has found. Time after time, officials at the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission have decided that original regulations were too strict, arguing that safety margins could be eased without parole, according to records and interviews. The results? Rising fears that these accommodations by the NRC are significantly undermining safety and inching the reactors closer to an accident that could harm the public and jeopardize the future of nuclear power in the United States. Folks, nuclear is like bad. Like, if something goes wrong, we're dead. Like, it's not good. Like, a lot of people are going to die. Like, I know that the mainstream media and press did not cover Fukushima. You need to do your homework. Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.com, The Drudge Report. Look up some real news and see what's going on in Japan and Fukushima. Like, a lot of people are going to die and suffer because of all this nuclear activity. Anyway, let me stick to the story before I get off. Here we go. That could harm the public and jeopardize the future of nuclear power in the United States. Examples abound. Right now, we're going to go quick. When valves leaked, more leakage was allowed, up to 20 times the original limit. When rampant cracking caused the radioactive leaks from stem generating tubing, an easy test of the tubes was devised so plants could meet standards. Failed cables, busted seals, broken nozzles, clogged screens, cracked concrete, dented containers, corroded metals, and rusty underground pipes. All of these and thousands of other problems linked to aging were uncovered in the AP's year-long investigation, and all of them could escalate dangers in the event of an accident. Yet despite the many problems linked to aging, not a single official body in government or industry has studied the overall frequency and potential impact on safety of such breakdowns in recent years. So basically what they're saying is that our lovely government and the inspectors get paid off, and they go and check these places out, and they see that they're falling apart, and that everything's breaking, and the tubes are cracked, and that the screens are cracked, and that everything is messed up, and that basically everyone's going to die from a nuclear power plant exploding. And what do? They weaken the regulations so that these nuclear plants can keep running instead of making them stricter and making them fix it and spend all this money that they make off of us. They just do what they want because they can afford to pay off the right people. Do your homework, folks. This is insanity that this can even go on in a country that we live in. Okay, I'm going to jump because there's some good stuff in this newspaper today, and I'm shocked, and I think that maybe you guys will be too. Okay, so then we shoot to page A9, okay, and these are letters, I guess, from people to the intelligencer, and I'm surprised they even printed them. Okay, reporters ignore Paul's performance, okay? I watched the New Hampshire Republican debate, but saw no mention of Ron Paul's shining moment. The report was just about Mitt Romney and Tim Poultney, okay? Paul may be a long shot candidate to some, but the conservative congressman from Texas received more than twice as many rounds of applause as his opponents at the last Monday's debate. According to the Baltimore Sun, Paul was applauded 11 times, while Mitt Romney, Michelle Bachmann, and Tim Poultney were applauded only 5 times each. Newt Gingrich and Herman Cain were only applauded 4 times each. And Rick Santorum brought up the rear by only being applauded 3 times during the 2-hour CNN debate. Ron Paul received one of the best reactions of any of the candidates after Romney said that if he were president, he would withdraw troops from Afghanistan only if his generals agreed that it was the right move. Well, guess what Ron Paul said? Ron Paul said, I wouldn't wait for my generals. Paul responded, I'm the commander-in-chief. I make the decisions. I tell the generals what to do. Paul said he would bring them home as quickly as possible. Now, here comes the catch. You better listen to what Ron Paul's saying. He said, and I would get them out of Iraq as well, and I wouldn't start a war in Libya. I would also quit bombing Yemen, and I'd also quit bombing Pakistan. I'd start taking care of people here at home because we could save hundreds of billions of dollars. Okay, you listening? I think his words and actions over the last 22 years in Congress show principles and leadership. He deserves more respect and more factual reporting versus relying on the AP wire. Yeah, the Associated Press. So they tell the truth about some nuclear plants, and they won't tell the truth about the president that could actually come in and fix this country. Ron Paul for president, folks. This man will fix this country, but you won't hear about that because they don't want him in the White House, because he'll take all these crooked elite bankers and get their asses out of there. That's why. Okay, here we go. And there's another letter, and it just happens to say, elites place burden on the middle class. I feel compelled to respond to not one but 2 letters that were published June 13th. The first, America under attack from within by the left. Surprised because I'm not aware of the problems faced by citizens who choose to fly the flag, recite the Pledge of Allegiance, or sing the national anthem. I've never been rebuked or restrained from any of these activities and don't know anyone else who has been either. Yeah, whoever wrote this letter is out of their minds. People won't let you do anything anymore. You're the bad guy if you have a don't tread on me flag. If you want to say God bless America, don't use the word God. It's a bad thing, even though it was written into our Constitution. I am, however, painfully aware of the erosion loss of my right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. He realizes it's gone. The right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness has been taken away here. It's caused by the unrestrained folly of our elected representatives, their colleagues on Wall Street, and the international banking elite. Yeah, people are starting to wake up, folks. First, we are driven into an unnecessary war by our lying executive branch. Then this war is waged at a cost of $50 billion of our taxpayers' money a month, not paid for by any tax revenue, but it's put on the family credit card. That's right. Keep stacking that debt up because we're the ones who will have to pay it. Next, the power elite invent new ways of taking advantage of those of us in the middle class and those trying to reach this status by issuing unrealistic mortgages in a glutted housing market. These same elites repackage the riskiest parts of these loans and resell them back to the same consumers who took on the questionable loans in the first place. And now comes the fun part. As this financial house of cards starts to fall apart, the banking elite go to their stooges in Washington and threaten global financial collapse unless their losses are covered by, you guessed it, the middle class in the form of government bailouts. $700 or $800 billion later, the banks have been saved and the economy is in the toilet. But at least the big boys can once again collect their $1 million bonuses. We are in trouble, folks. People are waking up, thank God, okay? Thank God that somebody is saying that we are being raped by Wall Street, by these global elite bankers, and they are using our government as puppets. We think we elected these people, and I can't see it because they're not doing anything to help the American people. They're trying to kill us, folks. They're trying to they're taking our lives away here. We're gonna jump quick, okay? War powers and Obama. Americans' intervention in Libya's civil war, the most projected and least surreptitious assassination attempt in history, was supposed to last days, not weeks. But it is in the fourth month and has revealed NATO's involved by bombing people and taking lives. NATO just started bombing Libya. I thought we weren't going to be on the ground. We were there to help. It was a humanitarian effort. Now it turned from a humanitarian effort to a kinetic action or this and that. It's out of control. We are bombing these people. We're killing them. Take a look at my favorites. It says 7 civilians killed. They just bombed somebody about 3 days ago, and the guy's holding a baby bottle because babies were murdered by bombs dropped on this poor country. We need to take all these people. We need to leave the Middle East. We need to leave them alone. We need to stop believing the lies that we're being told so that the rich can get richer and the poor can get poorer. Okay, last but not least, and this is really funny because they even said that Ron Paul got no attention in any papers. They didn't talk about that he was the best candidate, that he also had the most round of applause during CNN's thing. They don't talk about him at all, and it just goes to show that on page A11 of Monday, June 20th, 2011, Lancaster Journal New Era, on war, Republicans returning to reality. The GOP candidates reconsider Afghanistan and other foreign adventures. And this was written by Peggy Noonan, and she's a columnist. Well, guess what? Peggy Noonan talked about every single GOP candidate except for, guess who, folks? Ron Paul. That's right. She didn't make one single mention. He might not as well exist in this world. That she didn't. His name isn't mentioned one time in the article. It's all about Mitt Romney and Michelle Bachmann and all these other morons that are puppets that will go right into the same position as the ones that are in there now, killing us, taking our money, and sending us to war for no reason. Folks, I beg of you to understand that you have been lied to for so long and manipulated for so long, and the lies have been coming in the form of newspapers and television. Let me explain to you that these people know what they're doing. They've known what they're doing. They've discussed this back in the 30s and 20s, that if they could get a television in every household, they would have you. Folks, there are things going on that blow my mind. I want people to know that I don't live a daily life happy to know that my government is crooked and doing the wrong things. It's horrifying. It scares me, it scares my family, and we just want people to wake up. We need some patriots here. I don't know what needs to be done. I no longer will watch TV. I try to tell everyone that will listen, go to Alex Jones on YouTube. Go, if you can't afford to go, afford the website, don't worry about it. All his stuff is up for free. He's a real patriot. He wants you to get the information out. It's mind-blowing, folks. It's scary times, and the good part is that I'm finding out that millions are waking up. I love to see everybody who's getting in touch with me for Ireland, the UK, even here at the States. I signed up for We Are Change. We Are Change, make sure it's the right group and it's a legitimate one, but there's 1,000 We Are Changes everywhere in every state and every part of the world, and they're making the difference too. The Drudge Report, check that out if you need some real information. Folks, it's time to wake up. It's time to save your grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren and give them a chance at a freedom and liberty that we had growing up. I'm like, at 33 years old, I feel lucky to have grown up in the 90s where we were able to see at least some other things. I talk to kids now, and when I tell them that I was allowed to go out to the pizza place and get a slice of pizza for lunch, they're shocked because they're locked in the schools through metal detectors and all forced to wear the same clothes. Barely any gym, no art, no music. We're losing America, folks, and I ask that you wake up, and I ask that you research what I'm talking about. Check out everything in my favorites. Even if you look at one a day, you'll see some stuff that will blow your mind. I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been the Super J Business Hour, folks. Everything here is real. I beg of you to show me different if that's the case. Fight the power. Why stand on a silent platform? Fight the war. F the norm. It's time to wake up, America. It's time to do the right thing. Say hello to your neighbors. Spread the information. Don't be afraid to talk about the Constitution and Bill of Rights because they are being raped right now. And I thank you folks for tuning in. I'm going to start trying to do this every day, like I said. It's time to fight back.